Welcome back to the Michigan Golfer. I'm Brad Shelton, your host, and we were fortunate enough today at Eaglecrest Golf Club and Golf Resort here in Ypsilanti, Michigan to meet up with two guys that are making the changes at the golf course that are going to make it even a better experience for you. On my right, Bob Steele, president of Steele Golf. To my left, Todd Genske. He's the head superintendent here at Eaglecrest. We got a chance the other day to hear from Jim Lipe about the changes that are making the course, and I know some changes have already been made. But what I want to talk to you two guys about, everybody knows the designer. They always know the guy that comes in because they get to put their name on everything. But the guys behind the scene are you two guys. So I'd like to kind of get an idea of what you're going to do in this process of the redesign, the enhancement of Eaglecrest.
Okay. Well, I kind of take the plans that Jim draws up for us and works with Jim and Todd and Wes and puts together the package. We're pricing the next phase right now as we speak, and we'll have those numbers to them next week to see how much work we can progress forward with the dollars amount that we have allocated for this next phase. So, we're excited about it. We were here for the first phase, and I think all that work really turned out great, and we worked great with Todd and Wes and Jim. And it's a great experience to be up here. And so I've been doing this since 1970, so it's not my first rodeo.
Not your first rodeo. I know you were telling me the other day about how many courses you work on. How many do you work on at one time, Bob?
Well, typically this time of year we're only working on like 2 projects, maybe 3. And in years past when it was really hot and active, we were doing 10 or 12 big deals a year. So things that everybody knows it's really slowed down the golf industry. And, I'm kind of like in the end of my career where you hate to ever say you're pick and choosing what you do. So that's kind of where I'm at right now in my career and life. So.
Well, Bob, tell me this. I mean, you're always working with some limitations. You've got a number of acreage. You've got certain elements of the environment that you've got to think about. As you think about the enhancement that you're going to make to Eaglecrest, what have been some of the challenges that you've had to overcome in putting together a plan to meet Jim's specifications for the design?
Well, of course, the environmental stuff, when we worked on 5, we had to make sure we're doing all the silt fencing and, going by all the state statutes to make sure we don't infringe in the wetlands. And, and Jim does a great set of plans, so they're pretty easy to follow, and the contour lines, I think, don't always match up to what's here, so we kind of have to ad-lib and enhance a little bit. So, and that's the good experience of working with Jim. I worked with Jim with the Nicholas Group back in it was the mid-'80s over in England. So that was my first experience with Jim, so we go way back.
Well, fantastic. Now, Bob, are you on site the whole time?
Yes, I'll be on site. I may skip away for a few days to go do something to fly to another project, but the first phase here, I was here almost every day working with Todd, and it was a lot of fun. We worked together well.
Well, you mentioned Todd, and I introduced him earlier as the head superintendent here at Eaglecrest. So when he goes away, Todd, it's on you to get it done. Tell me a little bit about how long you've been here at Eaglecrest, and just a little bit about what you went through in phase 1 of the enhancements.
Well, I'm in my 4th season at Eaglecrest. I came in the winter of 2010. And the golf course was under snow, so I didn't get to see what I was inheriting. But we went into the first phase, and working with Bob was great. Identifying drainage, irrigation, how things are going to move, troublesome areas that are already out on the golf course, and how we can make them better. And he works with my staff, and we do all the grassing. Once he grades it, if he skips out of town and leaves, it's up to my staff to bring the sod in or pick the sod up, put it back in the new area, and that's basically how we do it.
A joint effort, obviously, from all 3 of you,
Yep.
And plus the staff here at the golf course. Todd, in that first phase and in the phases that are coming up, what maintenance challenges were you able to rectify out here that's going to make it a better experience for the players?
Well, definitely building new tees on number 1, 5, 6, and 7 made a great deal of improvement on the golf course. The amount of rounds we get at Eaglecrest, it's a challenge to do divot fill and have grass growing before it gets chewed up again. So by enlarging the tees, we improved some drainage, and on number 6 we refloated the green so the balls weren't rolling off, and those were some really nice improvements.
And refloating, when you say refloating, put a new contour to it, maybe flattened out some things, not as much slope for the speed of the greens you want it to go?
Right, and what my staff did is we schedule it with Bob. Are we ready to do this? We strip the sod and keep it stacked in, I guess, numbers, and they come through and they have one day, because I don't want the sod to dry out because it's coming off a green, and they have one day to recontour it, add some mix, pull some mix off some slopes so they're not as steep, and then we come in the next morning with plywood and start putting the sod back just as it was before.
I know this is not just a one summer, one winter project. This is going to take a number of years. As both of you look at it, what would be an estimation for about how long this project's going to take, Bob?
Well, the initial one was 4 years, and I think it's got extended to 8 or 10 now over a period of time. They allocate so many dollars a year, and then that's all the work we can do during that time frame.
Okay. Well, man, like I said before, you're the two guys behind the scenes that nobody ever sees. Unfortunately, your name doesn't go up on the billboard
Right.
like Jack Nicklaus or Jim Light does, but certainly having a big part in this. And I'm just going to let you know, we just heard it's going to be maybe an 8-year project. So what you're going to need to do at Eaglecrest, you're going to need to come every year and see all the changes. Check with the changes in the pro shop. Ask Todd if you see him on the course. If you see Bob hanging around driving a bulldozer or something, check with them and see what changes they're making, and then come back year after year and just watch the evolution of this wonderful resort golf course. From Ypsilanti, Michigan at Eaglecrest Golf Resort, I'm Brad Shelton. Thanks for joining us.